one of the most famous racetracks in America, located at the southern tip of Seneca Lake. Tonight, we head to our second and final road course of the season, Watkins Glen International. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Eliza Bethel alongside Pete Ruzick. Pete, how you doing tonight?
Eliza, I am absolutely ecstatic to be here. Love the Glen. We're actually just talking about that with Jared Cardwell and a bunch of the other guys. Going back to the Heat days, back on console. I've always loved this place. After moving from North Carolina up to New York, I'm only about an hour and 15 minutes from this place, so I guess I can officially call this my home track. I'm all right. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm ready for another road course. These guys always amaze me with their talent, so I'm ready to see what they've got and see the times, though. I can tell you, let's have a look while we're talking about it. We're just getting to the end of practice here, but take a look at the times. How incredibly close. And Francis Hamilton already at a 1:11.98. We're getting ready to head into qualifying, but all those orange names that you see, those are drivers that are driving for the championship. So really, really cool to see. I'm excited what they can do in qualifying, but man, I think it's going to be really close. We talked about it in practice. Pete, it's like they're doing Talladega or something with how close these times are.
Oh, yeah, a whole bunch of times right in the 112 bracket. As you saw, Francis Hamilton, the only one to dip into the 111s. Bad fast. We'll have to see if the speed in the 48 transfers over to qualifying and then in the race as well. I still think about Andrew Wisdom and Matt O'Brien and a bunch of those guys that have been fast on the road courses over the last several seasons. None more, though, than Andrew Wisdom. We'll have to see who's fastest tonight, who can grab the pole, maybe double up for that win. And if it's a chase driver, they're going to be looking just that much better as we get closer and closer to that championship with only, 3 or 4 races left in season number 5.
Yeah, it is coming to a close. So, this every point, every position matters. There's a lot on the line here tonight. So, again, I'm very curious to see what these guys are going to do. But you see a lot of drivers out here, and I can assure you, the first couple of laps out here, especially the first one, is going to be extremely slippery. So these guys are really going to have to watch it on these cold tires, and you're going to see them kind of gingerly make their way around the track, try to get heat in those tires, and then that next lap is going to be hopefully their fastest one. We'll see, but yeah, you definitely got to get those tires warmed up, and you can see currently we're on board with Austin Mitty as he makes his way around the final couple of turns.
Yeah, talking about the track and being slick right now, track temp is about 122. We're talking to Jordan McGraw before we kicked off this evening, and he said very, very loose to start with, but once you got a little bit of heat in those tires, it got to be a little bit more manageable. So that's going to make qualifying even that much more interesting because you only get a couple laps to figure out this place. The first one you can kind of throw away, but that second one you got to be on your marks, and you got to hope for that grip.
Absolutely. And let's bring in Izzy and Jay here for the soap company. They craft natural handmade soaps, beard balms, and tattoo butters. They benefit your family. If you have sensitive skin, it does amazing job to take care of your skin, and they're great for the environment and the planet. So be sure to visit them out there on www.izzyandjsoap.com. I know they have a lot of cool stuff, so take a look. And from what Pete says, they smell amazing, so that's always a bonus.
Oh, yeah, everything from their lavender to their peppermint to, so many different scents in their soaps, whether you've got naturally oily skin, dry skin, whatever the case may be. If you got a little bit of a beard or a mustache you need to take care of, maybe you got a tattoo, they got a new cream or they've had a cream for that as well. All kinds of things to take care of your skin and what you can, and sometimes what you don't want to have done to it. But very, very great product. And yeah, I'm definitely a proud user.
Absolutely. It's great to hear. And I love that they're great for your skin, great for the environment, all amazing and very important. So take a look at these times, though. Jurgensmeyer, 112.04. Maggio in that 51 machine, a 112.08. And Rivers Jones, a 112.39. Again, these times just incredibly close, a second and a half off from 1 through 7th, and they are not done yet. I mean, they get 2 laps out there, so whatever they can bring home with, that's what they're going to do. But man, absolutely flying so far and just doing a phenomenal job out here in qualifying. We are going to have to take care of those tires, though. I know some of these road courses don't really have an issue. The next gens was not an issue with tire. But I can assure you here, it's going to be a little bit more important. You're going to notice these guys after about 5 or 6 laps, those times might start to fall off.
Yeah, I mean, I think over the course of a 10 to 15 lap run, we were seeing people lose about a good 2 seconds, give or take. But yeah, that right now, that top 8 all separated by less than a second. We watched Rivers Jones. He was having a little bit of a connection issue in practice. Right now, he's sitting P5. Matt Sisler, who I hadn't seen turn a lap during the entire 45-minute or hour-long practice, right now he's sitting P9. 1 second off. It looks like the 03 are right. He's the first one in the second or more difference after Jurgensmeyer right now, who was fastest in practice behind Hamilton.
Moose out there says, I'm getting a big tattoo soon. I'm going to need to get some. So yeah, be sure to visit him out there and show him some love, and it'll benefit you absolutely in the long run. So very cool to see, but man, guys are still moving along, and we're going to have to talk about points once we go to the warm-up. But Steve Amaggio, another very, very strong driver, and our top 8 drivers, they're going to be chase drivers. So great to see him out there in the top 8. We'll see if a few more make their way on up. And look, Justin Anasagak is going to go ahead and separate Brendan Book from the remainder of the chase drivers, and we might see a few more that sneak in the top.
Yeah, Justin Anscock, very, very strong. We were talking to him for just a moment before we went on air, and he said whoever set it up for the warmer temps, he was absolutely loving it. And when we said Brendan Book, he was even that much more appreciative. No, just kidding. But no, Justin Anscock, very, very fast, and he's another one of those great drivers, Eliza. Whether it was the Cup cars of seasons past, trucks that he runs on Sunday nights, all those other races in other leagues throughout the week. Yeah, he just knows how to get it done. Book right now sitting P9. Jordan McGraw rounding out the top 10. Sisler, Wright, Gale, Honeycutt, and Cardwell right now are your fast 15. I believe we've got, 22, 23 drivers so far that will be taking to the track tonight. It's going to be a great race.
Yeah, well, we'll see what they can do. We still got a little bit of time, but I know a couple of drivers said they were not going to qualify. They're going to start in the back, let everything shake out a little bit, and then they'll go from there. Maybe not as confident as they were thinking or hoping for this race. I mean, it's a road course. It's a whole different ball game out here. We're making those lefts and rights here. So it definitely shakes things up a bit, especially in the chase. So I'm excited to see, but should be coming up here shortly. 3 more minutes. Why don't we go ahead and take a look at the track analysis, what we're going to see tonight. I'm going to close these other things out here and have a look. Track analysis for the Glen. 45 laps on the board tonight. No fast repairs. That has not and will not change. If you get damage, you will have to take it to pit lane and get that repaired. Stages. Stage 1 is going to be 14 laps. At the conclusion of lap 14, our top 10 drivers will receive bonus points, with our first one crossing the line receiving 10 points and 10th place receiving 1 point. Our second stage will be 31 laps long. And for tire sets, they get 2 sets of fresh tires. So we'll see what they can do with that. They may or may not use it. We'll find out. I'm not expecting any cautions, knock on wood. So this is just going to be based on strategy and what they can do out here.
Yeah, in case anybody out there is wondering why no strategies, why no cautions. The only reason a caution would fly, and it would have to be an admin caution, meaning either Brendan Book or another admin in the field that would have to throw the yellow, is if a wreck happens and it completely blocks the track. Other than that, we will stay clean and green for the most of the part of the evening. definitely looking for a great race as more and more, getting on out there. We were just watching Micah Allard. Now here's the 68 Frozen Machine for Tom Harmon. A lot of very fast drivers out here.
Oh, absolutely. And it looks like Steven Maggio is out there. P2 currently 112.0A. And you can see him going through the grass a little bit, kicking up some of that dirt. But he is coming around after the bus stop here and coming around the final couple of corners. We'll see if he can improve that time. But it shows he is in the yellow, which means more than likely he will not improve that time. Thomas Harmon in the green, but not purple for him. So we'll see what these two can do, if they can gain any position on track.
Yeah, Tom Harmon, very, very fast. He actually got a dub last night in the turned out for what iRacing Truck Series. He's been very, very fast here. I mean, I think a couple weeks ago, Tom Harmon told me that he took a little bit of a break, and it took him some time to catch back up. Because I tell you what, after that little bit of a reset he's had, the man's been on fire in that Frozen Machine.
Absolutely. He comes on the board at 11th, 112.79. A great time, but man, it's just so incredibly tight out there. Maggio is going to be with a 112.08. And qualifying is coming to a close. We'll head on over to warm up and take a look at our points. But what do you think we're going to see in turn one? I always talk about turn one, lap one. Do you think we're going to get through it smoothly?
I tell you, it's been a while since we've been on any kind of a road course. I would think, or I would hope, or I think to hope that they're going to take it a little easy, getting on the brakes and really taking care of their competition, getting into turn one, and even coming up through the S's. They're not forcing anybody off track, going through the grass and things like that. So it's going to be interesting. If it is a bit of a calamitous corner, I think they'll have a lot to talk about a little bit later on.
I agree. And like you said earlier, the only reason a caution would come out is if the track is completely blocked. And I just don't see that happening. Again, gonna knock on that wood. You don't want to jinx anybody, but road courses are pretty clean. It's usually just a one-car incident, so I don't see any difference here tonight. But we're gonna take a look at the points. Steven Maggio is in the lead with points. He's got 1,109. He has stayed that way for several races here, but Jonathan Hernandez, he's got 2 wins. He won last week, so that puts him up 3 spots to P2 with 1,090. Thomas Harmon moves up a spot, and Brody Folliker, he loses 2 along with teammate Jimmy Cocker. Francis Hamilton, he's going to gain 2 to sit P6. And some other movers are going to be Jarrett Cardwell, who has moved up 3 spots to P14. And Michael Walls, who is 26. He moved up 3 spots. But, man, the points throughout this are very, very close. You can see 14th, 15th, 16th. Very, very tight. And, of course, our chase drivers, anything can happen. And when we say that, it usually does. So we'll have to keep our eye on these 12 drivers.
Goes for that number 51 Aflac machine. Hernandez still, P2, just a mere 19 points behind. So a whole lot can change. Hernandez really been pouring it on, having a lot of great results as of late. I think he's only missed like 1 or 2 races during the season, and here he is fighting for his first championship right along with Maggio.
Yeah, pretty crazy. Really cool to see. So we'll take a look at these guys going by, but man, oh man. It's just flying through, and as we saw right there in that final corner, just absolutely slideways. And you're going to see that quite a bit from these drivers, especially on the first couple of laps. It's going to be very, very loose, as you see another driver getting very loose, and I do believe that is the 03, and we saw Matt Sisler just completely slideways going down the track there.
Yeah, just watch the 91 of Rivers Jones just completely drift part of the S's. Not quite sure if that was on purpose or what, but definitely looked really, really cool. He's got that Izzy and Jay's soap machine completely sideways going through. As now we take a look at the 12 of Jarrett Cardwell. And Eliza, look at that. 4 of the top 5 so far in this warm-up are chase contenders.
Yeah, you know, I think these chase drivers are putting in the time, trying to practice the tracks, making sure they cross those T's and dot those I's, and just get every advantage that they can, because it's just going to be so incredibly tight. The talent here is just unbelievable, and you got to do what you got to do to try to get those wins and positions.
Yeah, the talent pool here cannot be overstated. I mean, there's guys in here that are 5, 6, 7K, all the way down to guys that are in the low to mid 2s. So it really is a great depth of racing knowledge throughout Shake and Bake, and has been that way for many, many seasons now.
Absolutely. All right, warm-up is coming to a close. These guys are getting ready to go to the race for 45 laps here at the Glen. I think it's going to be really exciting. A couple of spots that I think we're going to have to look out for is turn 1, lap 1. We're going to have to look out through the bus stop. Not a place that you want to go too wide, not a great place to pass either. So I think a place we're going to see guys try to make passes are in turn 1, and that is a high risk, high reward if you can make it happen, but it can also mean catastrophe. So turn 1 is just it's a place we're gonna have to watch overall. It's just a very tricky corner to try to make, and especially if you're trying to make those passes.
And talking about the bus stop, you absolutely nailed it. That guardrail that goes into the entrance of the bus stop, I've seen many, many people, they try to just barely cut that stop, get the right side up on the rumble strips, and get a little bit of air, and the right side accidentally grabs that guardrail, sends them spinning. So two very, very good places that you point out to keep an eye on.
Absolutely. And you can already see these drivers lining up, so let's go ahead and start with the grid. You see Jonathan Jurgensmeyer. He is going to be sitting on pole out here to his right in the row 1. We're going to have Steven Maggio in that 51. Row 2 is going to be Jonathan Hernandez, who just got his 2nd win of the season last week. Brody Folliker going to round out row 2. And in row 3, we're going to have Rivers Jones in the 91 with Jimmy Cocker to his outside. Francis Hamilton in 7th with Connor Cunningham in 8th, and Justin Inisagak in 9th with Brendan Book in 10th.
Yeah, top 12 is going to look like Tom Harmon in that number 68, sitting P11, with J-Mac. Jordan McGraw in that 34, sitting P12. P13 looks like Matt Sisler in the 45, with Jamie Wright in the 03 to his outside. Matt Gale from across the pond in that 67, starting 15th, with John Honeycutt in that Team FTR number 50, 16th. 17th is going to be Micah Allard in the 61, with JC Jarrett Cardwell in the 12 to his outside. 19th, Joe Berg in that 93, and the one and only Philip Bridgman in the 24 from Canada, starting 20th.
In 21st, we have Andrew Sanford in that 37 with Dylan C. Robb. In 22nd, 23rd is going to be Brian Pizzikimi in the 78 with Austin Mitty in the 9, and that's going to round out our field. So 24 drivers here tonight for the Glen. Is going to be a great one. If you guys have a clue on who's going to win, if you have a guess, let us know in chat. Who are you rooting for? Who do you think's going to win it tonight?
Liza, who's your road ace this evening?
Oh man, it's going to be tough. I kind of feel like Steven has a great chance along with Jonathan. I'm so bad when it comes to picking just one. It's so tough to pick. The talent here is just amazing. And like I said in Discord, I said the talent just in road courses in general is just incredible, to be honest.
I think the 42, Brody Falker, he's got to stop the bleeding. He's had a couple of rough races over the last couple weeks. I think tonight he settles in with, if not a win, a great podium finish, and tries to march his way back up a little bit in those point standings we were talking about earlier. I'm going to keep my eye on the 42 tonight.
All right, we got another one saying Steven Maggio in chat, and I think he's going to be an absolute strong one. I would love to see Brody back in winner's circle. He's our defending champion from the Xfinity Series, so we'll see what happens here, but we have a couple more corners, and And we're going to get started here for 45 laps, but you can see these drivers already preparing, ready to go, and we can get past turn 1, lap 1. I think we'll be solid.
Yeah, single file down the back straight of this track, going through turn 6. They're going to go ahead and make that final right-hander towards turn 7 here in just a moment. Head on down the straightaway. You'll see the crowds behind cheering and rooting them on. Last corner, heading towards turn 1. Eliza, that pace car is going to go ahead and pull off. We're going green. Let's have a great night.
Yeah,
Green
here
flag.
we go. The flag is about to wave, and we are green here at the Glen for 45 laps already on the run. And man, 2 by 2 all the way through, heading into the first corner. Very, very clean from what I can see so far, but a lot of guys taking it wide, trying to give that room. But here we go, Pete.
Yeah, Steven Maggio looks like he's going to be able to grab the lead coming up through the S's, hotly pursued by the 51 halfback machine of Maggio. Hernandez right now sitting P3, 42 of Brody Falker, and Rivers Jones going to be the top 5. First fight for position right behind Rivers Jones between the 11 of Jimmy Cocker, the 48 who was bad fast earlier, and the 03, I'm sorry, that's actually the 09 of Justin Aniscock for P8.
Yeah, we talked about these guys not going too wide through the bus stop. It's just very dangerous, not the cleanest way to go around. But man, some of these guys had no choice but to take it too wide. They made it through and back to single file for the most part. So we have a long train here at the Glen.
Yeah, long train coming around all the bends. Absolutely. Turn 6, turn 7, coming to complete the first lap. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer is going to be able to do just that. And he's actually pulled away just a little bit from the 51. You saw the 42 of Brody Falker peek to the inside, maybe trying a little bit of an outbreak on Hernandez. Thought better of it, kept his position, tucked back in. That double O looking really, really strong coming through the S's.
Yeah, he sure is. I want to see consistency from him. It's so important here at the road courses. You got to have that consistency. Maintain a solid pace. Don't make those errors. You got to avoid costly mistakes like spin-offs or, getting those penalties. And we haven't talked about that. You get 21 incident points before you have to do a drive-through. And then after that, it's every subsequent 10 incident points that you'll have to go in. So these drivers really have to mind their P's and Q's and make sure that they stay on track and keep it clean.
Yeah, those incident points, every time you go off track, it's 1 point. You make contact with another car, you end up in a wall or something like that. Most of the time, that's going to be 4 points. So they can rack up on you really, really quick. And since the wrecks may not always be your fault, it'd be in your best interest to keep it on track as much as you can.
Absolutely. And it looks like our top 5 drivers have not changed position, but after we get through that, we are switching things up. Francis Hamilton is going to gain a spot over Jimmy Cocker, who was 6th. He's now 7th. Justin Anisagaki has gained a spot. Thomas Harmon, he's gaining 2 to sit P9. Connor Cunningham lost 2 spots since the start of the race, and we're on lap 3. I don't even know where that time went, but here we go. Brendan Book lost a spot. He's sitting 11th. Matt Sisler in 12th. Jamie Wright 13th. Jordan McGraw 14th. And Matthew Gale rounds out your top 15.
Yeah, Matt Gale started in P15, and that's right where he continues to run. Behind him, Micah Allard, he's up 1 to P16. John Honeycutt down 1, so those two basically just swapping positions. Jared Cardwell in the 12-4. He started 18th. That's right where he runs. Philip Bridgman and Andrew Sanford, 19th and 20th respectively. Both of those guys are up 1 spot each. Brian Pizzakemi, he started 23rd. He's up to 21st. Austin Mitty, same thing, started 24th. He's up to 22nd. Dylan Robb down 1, and Joe Berg right now running 24th. Last of the lead lap cars. That's all the way through the field.
Jurgensmeyer just over a half a second ahead of Steven Maggio, who's out there in second. That 51 machine, Rivers Jones, he's already gained 2 spots. So some more movement with these guys out here. You can see the guys in the orange for their name badge and throughout their car. That is going to be the chase drivers. They are also lit up in orange through the ticker and tower. Again, your chase drivers. So top 7 right now, all going for that championship, and you can see a little bit of space between Maggio and Rivers Jones. These guys starting to separate from the field.
Yeah, I think there's some heat coming into tires as well. Steven Maggio, last lap, went shake and bake purple, posting a time of 1:12.31, a good half-tenth faster than Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, but he still has a little bit of a gap to make up. It really just seems like Jurgensmeyer is very, very good in the braking zones. The 51 seems like he can get in there very, very cleanly, but he's just not accelerating the same as Jurgensmeyer to start lap 5 up through the S's. First, Jurgensmeyer. Second is Maggio. Rivers Jones sitting P3, Hernandez P4, and Brody Falker rounds out our top 5.
I'm going to go on board with Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, who I watched closely in practice, and I can tell you some of his laps, he was completely sideways going through there. He looks to be a lot more careful as he is going through this track, past the bus stop and around this corner. We'll see what he does here, but man, he is a lot more careful than what I saw in practice. Good news for his tires, because the first thing I thought was, man, his tires will be screaming if he's going that loose through the track. So great to see him out here. He's obviously doing a phenomenal job and has still a half a second lead over Maggio, but Maggio is not letting him get away.
Maggio's staying right there with him all the way through, but they are starting to gain a little bit of a gap. Right now it's at about 1.8, almost 1.9 between Maggio and Rivers Jones, and then Jones back to Hernandez, just about another half second, and then a full second back to Brody Falker. So from P1 to P5, a good 3+ seconds after starting, and side by side, we had that long conga line of cars starting to gain a little bit of room.
You can see Jimmy Cocker out there. He's got Justin Anisagak right behind him, sitting P8, who has gained another spot here. So he did start 9th. Thomas Harmon, he likes the way these cars drive out here, and he's doing a great job sitting in the top 10 currently. Connor Cunningham, I'm impressed with his run out here. I've known him for a long time, and it looks to be that road courses are starting to become a thing for him, where he's doing very well and being extremely consistent. So great to see that one.
Yeah, Connor Cunningham, he spent a lot of time, we all did, back in the Heat days, but he also spends a lot of time, or used to anyway, with Ed Shearer, who's done very, very well on iRacing since switching over from console. I know that he's learned a lot from him. I'm not trying to take anything away. Connor Cunningham definitely is got to be one of the most improved season over season here in Shake and Bake.
Taking a look behind Connor Cunningham, and there's a little bit of a separation. You can see Matt Sisler out here. That's going to be the end of that group. He's got Brennan Book directly in front of him, but behind him is going to be Jamie Wright in the 03 and Matthew Gale not too far behind, along with John Honeycutt, who is putting the pressure on Matthew Gale right now. You see 2 FTR drivers. That's going to be Jordan McGraw and look like Jarrett Cardwell's not too far behind. So quite the group we have in this, I would say, 3rd or 4th pack.
I got to tell you, I was very, very impressed with Honeycutt. Before going, before or after getting up and through the S's, he was even trying different lines to try to find some way or somehow some kind of speed to get around Matt Gale, even though it wasn't in a traditional passing zone. He's trying to get that Superman machine as far forward in the running order as possible.
Yeah, when we ran Xfinity here, it is extremely difficult to make a pass, and I'm kind of curious how easy it is to make it here. Are they running into difficulty in trying to make that? Of course, you can use the straights here, but you're really going to have to shove it in there in turn 1 and hope that you don't take the opponent out that you're going against. So you just really got to pick and choose your battles and where you're going to make those passes.
Like Allard, just a couple spots back, you just mentioned the 34 Jordan McGraw. That's who he's chasing. And then, of course, Jarrett Cardwell. Jarrett, he was about 22nd to 23rd in the practice time, so he's definitely improved a little bit on that. He qualified P18. That's where he continues to run. Brian Pizzichemi right behind, and as I mentioned, Micah Allard just ahead in that number 61.
Yeah, I know Jarrett was talking about struggling a little bit in practice, but man, so far he's looking pretty solid. So great to see him doing well, and everyone on the team was trying to give him some hints, and he was asking questions on how he can improve his time and what gear you got to get down to. I mean, it's just all important details when you come here. Where to, shift down. What are you shifting down to? Where are your braking points, and how fast you can get on that throttle with upsetting the car and killing those tires. It all goes into your lap time here and how quick those tires go down.
And not only shifting, Eliza, but part of that conversation was, what equipment are you using? Are you just shifting with your paddles? Are you using your clutch pedal? Are you using a shifter? Is it a sequential? Is it an H pattern? What is it? All these guys using different equipment to do their best week after week, night after night, whether it's here in Shake and Bake or elsewhere. A lot of these guys, true racers at heart.
Absolutely. Take a look at this. The battle up here for the lead, the 51, directly on Jonathan Jurgensmeyer. Definitely putting the pressure on him, trying to force him into a mistake. We'll see what Jonathan Jurgensmeyer can do. We've seen him have a lot of blinking issues this season. I haven't seen much from him as far as that goes tonight, which is great news. I would love to see a Jurgensmeyer win out here this season. So I'm wondering, will tonight be the night where we get that consistency from him and see a win?
He's still getting that great launch up and off the corners. Very, very little tire slip whatsoever, and even up through the technical part of the track, he is faster than the 51 by just a little bit. When I pull up the last 5 laps between just these two, I mean, they're trading haymakers. Maggio is faster than Jurgensmeyer 3 of the last 5 laps, but it's not fast enough to really get on up there and put the battle down. Another guy that's very, very fast right behind them is the Rivers Jones in that number 91. He's also been faster than Maggio 3 of the last 5 laps. So we got some very, very fast cars inside this top 5.
I'm looking at our track map here, and these guys are starting to get really separated. 22nd and 23rd. These guys back here, you can see them making their way on the backstretch, I'll call it. Dylan Robb just going at it with Philip Bridgman, in which I did get a notification that Philip Bridgman perhaps crashed earlier on. Not sure if he just went through the grass or what. It can be a little sensitive with that, but he has fallen back just a little bit, but definite lot of gaps out here throughout the field.
Yeah, when I take a look at that number 24, he is very loose, but I don't see any damage. I want to say it's maybe a little bit of a Jimmy Johnson throwback, if you will, looking pretty sporty. Right now, yeah, in the back, I also got that wreck notification right about a little over 14 minutes into this race. Eliza, how about this? We are 11 laps into this race so far, and it feels like we just started. 10 more, I believe it's. No, actually, we're getting close to that stage break.
We sure are. Let's take a look at the track analysis. It will be on lap 14 of 31. So once that happens, at the conclusion of 14, we will give bonus points to our top 10 drivers again, with the first one crossing the line receiving 10 points and 10th receiving 1. So that is coming up shortly, and it's much needed bonus points for a lot of these drivers. But Maggio, he is sitting pretty out here. I know Jurgensmeyer, he needs those points.
Yeah, Jurgensmeyer, he would love to keep the 51 right behind him, love to grab max points at the stage, and then maybe even go on to grab the W when it's all said and done. Eliza, here we go. First braking opportunity, not so much for Maggio. He tried. You saw a little bit of tire smoke out of that left front. Had to abort the attempt and just fall right back in line.
We have a guy on pit lane. It's going to be Justin Isagak. Not sure what happened with him, or if he's just taking a different strategy out here, but he's got the tires going in, and hopefully we'll see him coming out shortly, but taking both sides.
Yeah, Justin Ascock in the Kings STP colors, that '09 machine. As you see, the left side's come down, but he's oh, yeah, okay, so the left side's we're on, right side is up right now. This track always throws you off whenever you get here because they're pitting backwards. I keep forgetting about that, but yeah, exiting pit road, gonna go ahead and grab a few gears, get back up to speed. I'll have to see how this strategy plays out for him.
I'm kind of curious. We were talking about difficulty with passing, and I think we're seeing that a little bit here tonight once again because Steven Maggio, he is just on his heels. But I think he's just either trying to hold on to the tires, trying to buy some time, maybe next lap around as we are coming up on 14. So will he make that pass on this lap heading into the final part of stage 1? We will not bring a stage break. They will continue to race. So I'm just curious. I'm going to find out here in a minute. Is he having trouble passing, or is he just taking it easy for now?
He could be taking it easy. I mean, Justin Ascock has missed a few races. That's why he's not part of the chase. I would have loved to have seen him be able to complete all the races and have a great effort towards the championship here in Shake and Bake. Just wasn't meant to be in the cards for him, but these the top two right now going through the carousel. Maggio's look just a little bit more to the inside than the double O's was, coming to turns 6 and 7, coming to start lap 14. Eliza, those very important stage points are on their way.
They try to take a look on that inside, make a pass on the straight. We're about to find out. Looks like he might just stay. No, here we go. Will he able to get that run? It's going to be difficult. Yeah, I think we're running into a difficulty in passing as we saw last season. It's just one of those things. It's just not easy to pass here whatsoever. And you're going up through the S's. Obviously, not a great pass, great point to pass either. So, I think it's just going to be really difficult to see Maggio try to make that pass.
I think you're 100% right. And not only that, if he was to look to the inside of the double O, does the double O think that he's there? Is he listening for his spotter, staying still clear or whatever? Maggio kind of cutting the grass a little bit, coming or off of the exit of the bus stop. But is he just trying to maybe pull to the inside, going into turn 1, trying to make the double O make a mistake? But right now, Jurgensmeyer is cool as a cucumber.
Yeah, here he comes around the final couple of corners. So if he can, he's going to grab those bonus points for leading here, coming to stage 1 finish. And yeah, coming on the straight, we're going to go side by side. Maggio gets into him a little bit, gives it back to him. So Jurgensmeyer will take the bonus points for P1 at the stage. Jones going to take 2. Maggio takes 3rd. Brody Folliker takes 4th. Hernandez 5th, Jimmy Cocker 6th, Francis Hamilton is going to take 7th, Thomas Harmon 8th, Connor Cunningham 9th, and Matt Sisler going to round out your top 10, and he will receive 1 bonus point. But man, what a battle. And David, I see you out there. What's up, guys? Everybody in chat, thank you so much for tuning in. Hope everyone's doing well.
Tell you what, that battle, that little bit of a checkup by the 51, didn't only cost him 1 spot, it cost him 2. Yeah. Rivers Jones was able to motor his way on by. So did the 42 of Brody Folliker. So that puts Steven Maggio from P2 back to P4. And now he falls into the clutches of Jonathan Hernandez, who, as you said, got his 2nd win of the season last week.
Yeah, he won at Talladega and also won 2 races before that at Charlotte. So he's doing a phenomenal job out here at the Glen. It's great to see him out here at a road course, and I think it's his first full season with us here in SnB. So just great to have him. But Rivers Jones up to P2. How about that? You'll love to see it. Lap 16 of 45. Still plenty of racing left. And Brody Folliker, we talked about him. He's one of your picks, sitting P3.
Yeah, Brody Folliker blinking out a little bit right now, but back. He is back, kind of in and out just a little bit. It seems like it's mostly at the beginning of the lap, and then is all right in that RJ Creative number 42. You look at the number 91 for Rivers Jones in those Izzy and Jay Soapco colors, and then that's the guy that created the paint scheme for the 42 right behind him. It always seems like those RJ Creative cars do pretty well.
Yeah, they are doing well. Look at these guys going through the bus stop. I mean, you just see dirt flinging everywhere as they're making their way through. But, man, what a wild ride. And I can tell you, your wheel goes everywhere. You have to hold on to it as you're hitting those curves and jumping those. So, definitely something that you have to constantly be aware of. But, man, as long as you're consistent and doing everything that you need to do, being gentle on your throttle and inputs, you're going to do a solid job here. And it's so important for our chase drivers to get all the points they can. You can see it right there on that ticker, the top 5 drivers so far, and I guarantee it's going to be more than that. It looks like our top 8 drivers are going to be chase drivers.
Yeah, everybody in that shake and bake orange this season anyway. But there was a battle just a moment ago between second and third. Brody Falker able to get on by the 91 of Rivers Jones. It was just kind of who took the corner a little too fast, ended up taking a little bit of an arc coming off, while the other was able to turn to the inside, so moved Brody Falker up to P2. Rivers Jones third, Maggio fourth, and Hernandez right now the top 5. Jurgensmeyer started on pole. That's where he continues to run. Jimmy Cocker back in P6, and that number 11 Toyota started 6th, running 6th. Francis Hamilton, who was very, very fast in the warm-up, right now finds himself 7th, also right where he qualified. Tom Harmon, he's up 3 in that number 68. Connor Cunningham running 9th. And Matt Sisler to round out the top 10, also up 3 spots in that number 45 Toyota.
Brennan Book sitting P11th. We're starting to get a lot of different packs here, and he's going to be kind of by himself solo as he is in 11th. Jordan McGraw is going to be 12th, and he's got a nice little pack behind him, including teammate John Honeycutt, who's in 13th, Micah Allard in 14th, and Matthew Gale 15th, Brian Pizzikimi 16th. It looks like he's trying to make a pass over Matthew Gale in that 67. We'll see him if he can make a pass heading into this next corner, but I'm not sure if he'll get it done. We'll have to keep an eye on it. Nope, he tucks right back in.
Yeah, no. Just didn't have the exit speed to try to pull to the inside of
50 around.
Mac Dale. Yep, 50 around. John Honeycutt at the bottom of the S's also allowed that Red Bull machine to get on by. So unfortunate for Honeycutt, but Andrew Sanford sitting 16th, Honeycutt now 17th, Aniscock 18th, Joe Berg 19th, Jarrett Cardwell 20th, and then the last of the cars out here on track, Jamie Wright in 21st, Austin Mitty 22nd, Dylan Robb 23rd, and Philip Bridgman, after some issues earlier in that 24, running in 24.
Looked like John Honeycutt got loose coming up on that curb, and it just spun him around. Luckily, the drivers that were behind him were able to make their way on through, but John Honeycutt loses a couple of spots from that night. I see a lot of drivers blinking out here. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, our leader, currently blinking. Brody Folliker right behind him, so hopefully that calms down a bit. And now we got Brody blinking.
Yeah, the top 2 kind of taking turns. But that's not what you want to see, especially in some of these braking zones, because if you turn in and that car is there, when they reappear, that could spell disaster for our top 2. Maggio has to be seeing all of this go on. Wonder, are they going to reappear? Is he going to be able to see him? But right now, big battle for P number 1. 42 looking to the inside of Maggio, going down the back straight. 42 should have the preferred line, making this left-hander a 00 right on his bumper. Where are they? Here they go.
Really hard to keep track of them when they're blinking out, but Brody's going to go ahead and take that lead over Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, who's just been incredibly strong out there. So phenomenal job by these drivers. And I know Stephen Maggio, he wishes he was up there, but that earlier incident, and it's obvious that these guys are having a difficult time making those passes, but he has now made his way back up to P3. And MJ Seals, I see you out there. How you doing? He says VT, and we got Jimmy Cocker out there, Virginia Tech. So maybe a little bit of fan out there. Jimmy Cocker sitting P7th, Brody Folliker in that lead.
Yeah, Jimmy Cocker back, as you said, P7 down one spot from where he started. Yeah, I tell you, if you haven't seen it yet, and I think I talked about this last night, if you have not seen the YouTube short or the TikTok yet, where Metallica did a concert at the Virginia Tech Stadium when they started Enter Sandman, it actually set off the seismic earthquake
Isn't that
detectors.
crazy?
Around Virginia Tech, and it registered as a 1.0 quake. How awesome did that have to be that evening?
I mean, if you hear that and don't get goosebumps, I don't know what's wrong with you. Like, that's insane. Metallica, I mean, that song is just amazing to begin with, but being in that atmosphere and being there, that had to be just a whole different thing.
That energy had to be absolutely amazing all night long. I mean, they used that song for their entrance.
Yeah.
I want to say it's like every game, but it was a whole lot more special because Metallica actually put that concert on. And yet you go back and you watch the opening of any Virginia Tech game, and that atmosphere is everybody's dancing and hopping and carrying on, waving their arms, screaming and yelling, getting ready for their favorite team to take the field. It's electric.
So we have Brody Folliker coming up on some lap traffic here, and these guys trying to get out of the way, but take a look at the gap that he has over P2, which is now Stephen Maggio. Almost a second and a half. Juergensmeyer has fallen back to P3. Not sure what's going on with him, if he just made a slight mistake, but we talked about it. You have to be consistent, not make those mistakes, and man, he's had a phenomenal run so far. But hopefully he can make his way back up there. It's just been so incredibly close. Absolutely insane.
Just saw Austin Mitty make that right-hand turn go down pit road. We might be in the start of green flag pit stops. Not quite sure what the fuel load is for this evening as we come to 24 to go here from Watkins Glen in the Shake and Bake R16 Gen 6 Cup Series. We are deep in the chase. Welcome everybody that's out there in the land of Twitch. 42 getting by the 24 going to the bus stop. That about gave me a little bit of a heart attack there.
Yeah, extremely close. I'll tell you. Brody just keeps blinking out there. And fortunately, he's not in a battle with anyone currently, but Stephen Maggio making his way up to John Honeycutt in that 50, who we saw spin out, a solo spin out earlier on. But I'm kind of curious, are we going to see anyone go in soon? I know Austin Mitty, let's take a look. He is out there on pit lane currently, but Stephen Maggio, who is second, he stays out.
Yeah, I saw a little bit of, or got a notification earlier for some kind of an issue with Dylan Robb. Right now, the number 16 Camaro is sitting on pit road P24. So you saw where he kind of went off track, came back on again, but looks like the 16's iBuyPower Knight may have come to an end early.
Maggio getting extremely loose coming around this corner here. You can just see these guys trying to be very careful with how they're getting on the throttle and coming off the exits here. You can tell things are just getting a little slippery than they were before. So I'm kind of curious, are we going to see them go in soon? If it's me and I'm starting to lose a lot of time, we ran a 1:15.1 for his last time. His best time is a 1:12.3. So that is almost 3 full second difference than his best lap.
Kind of curious looking at Stephen Maggio, as you were just pointing out, his last lap 1:15.13. Brody Falliker's last lap was a 1:14.30. Almost, what was that? That's 8 tenths, almost a full second faster than Stephen Maggio. You mentioned Maggio getting a little loose. Is Maggio possibly trying to save just a little bit of fuel, so kind of slowed his pace? Nope,
Yeah,
51's coming down pit road this time.
Yeah, I mean, he was about 3 seconds behind. No better time than now to come on in and take those tires, do what you need to do. Jonathan Juergensmeyer makes his way in. We have Francis Hamilton, Thomas Harmon. So I would assume these other drivers will make their way in, but the top 4 drivers are now Brody Folliker, Jonathan Hernandez, Jimmy Cocker, you can see him making his way around there, Matt Sisler, and Brendan Book.
Maggio, Jurgensmeyer, Hamilton, and Harmon all on pit road. So Jordan McGraw, Justin Ascock, Matt Gale, Brian Pizzakemi, Andrew Sanford as he enters pit road, and then Rivers Jones. Rivers Jones, after being up front battling for the lead, definitely slid back a bit. It'll be interesting to see if he brings that number 91 Izzy and J Soco machine to pit road soon. I would imagine that, everybody pretty much knowing cautions are not really going to be a thing tonight, that he'd come on down soon, grab those Eagle Feel Goods, top off with whatever fuel he needs as he gets super loose coming through the S's right in front of the 48. And you'd have to imagine he'll be on pit road this time.
Brody Folliger makes his way on in to pit lane here. Now, are we going to see... No, Jonathan Hernandez going to stay out. Jimmy Cocker stays out. Matt Sisler looks like he is going to make his way down pit lane. Here he comes now. Brennan Book looks like he will probably... Well, we're going to find out. Will he stay out or come on in?
It looks like Brendan Book's going to stay out this time. He's going to inherit P3 right behind Jimmy Cocker and Hernandez. So far, Hernandez, Cocker, Book, looks like Jordan McGraw, Matt Gale, Brian Pizzakemi, and that is going to be everybody who has not yet come down pit road.
All right, Jonathan Hernandez, new leader right here. He just got a win last week at Talladega. We're on the opposite side of tracks here. We are now at a road course, and I think this is a jack of all trades, just doing well out here, currently leading as some other drivers are going into pit. But man, doing a great job.
Yeah, absolutely. This one, he's going to have to come on down sometime soon, I would imagine. With cautions, again, not really being a thing, you've got to maximize what you can with those tires. There he is, the one making that hard right turn and really woeing and slowing that machine up down to pit road speed. That means the 11 of Jimmy Cocker, he's going to go ahead and inherit the lead. The 12 machine to his outside, that's Jarek Hardwell, not a battle for position right now.
Yeah, these guys do get bonus points for leading a lap, so if you can, it's definitely an advantage to get those bonus points when you can. So some bonus points are going to go to Jonathan Hernandez, Jimmy Cocker, and several other of our leaders of the night as we have 20 to go. You see Brennan Book out here currently P2, Justin Anisagak in third, Brody Folliker fourth, Steven Maggio. These are all drivers now that have gone into pit, so it's going to be Brody, Steven Maggio, Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, Rivers Jones, Francis Hamilton, Hernandez, who we just saw go in, and Connor Cunningham going to round out your top 10.
Yeah, when we saw the 09 of Justin Ascock go down pit road earlier in the Kings STP colors, we thought, what could he, or what kind of a strategy could he be employing or deploying? And it might just be this. Once Jimmy Cocker and Brendan Book go down pit road, he inherits the lead. He was, 9th or 10th at the time, and he had a good second plus over the 42, but it looks like the 42 of Falliker is starting to reel him in, and we could have a big battle. But the 09 getting loose right with the 42 right behind, and a big battle for P2 as the 09 able to gather it back up and bringing it right across the nose of that 51.
Our leader went in, Jimmy Cocker, so new leader is going to be Brennan Book. Brody Folliker going to be in second, Justin Insigak third, Steven Maggio in fourth, and Jonathan Jurgensmeyer going to round out your top 5. But man, Justin, that 09 got extremely loose and had a fantastic save, but Steven Maggio, he is a man on a mission, and he is just all over that back bumper. I would not be surprised if we see a move being made shortly, and he's trying to take it wide. I just don't know if he's going to have enough, but the 09, I don't know if he let him through, but that looked like he gave him a lot of room to make that move heading into the bus stop.
Yeah, coming off the top of the S's, saw the 09 really pulled to the right-hand side, trying to stay out of the way of the 51. He knows the 51's in the middle of a chase hunt. He's not going to be a thorn in his side. He wants to make sure that he's not in the way and impeding the what could possibly be the result of this race. But Brendan Book, he's going to go ahead and bring that number 5 HendrickCars.com machine down pit road. So the 42 of Brody Falliker will re-inherit the lead with a good, what do we got here? 1.5 second lead over Steven Maggio, Anaskog Jurgensmeyer, and Rivers Jones.
New leader Brody Falliker. We'll see. This is should be their only stop of the race, so they should be good to go from here on out. We'll see what happens, but a nice little lead over Steven Maggio, about 1.5 seconds, and then we're going to have Justin Anaskog in third, Jonathan Jurgensmeyer in fourth, who just made a pass over Justin in that 09. So these guys extremely tight, close, and making these moves now.
Yeah, Steven Maggio in the beginning of the race, he was staying all over the back bumper of Jonathan Jurgensmeyer after the start, and he was just very, very consistent with his lap times, and we saw him get better as the race went on. But eventually, Brody Falliker caught both Jurgensmeyer and Maggio, made the pass, and was able to take the lead. So we'll have to see if the 51 follows that same suit to where he gets better in just a little bit here, or if what we saw earlier was his the extent of his speed, and see if this 42 gets a very much needed shot in the arm for some points tonight.
Yeah, we're gonna have to keep our eye on the gap that they have, but that gap is growing just a little bit, and then third is almost 4.5 seconds back. So really, Maggio just has to close that gap and try to take over that lead. But Brody, he really wants to win. He needs that win. He was our defending champion here for Xfinity last season. We'll have to see what he can do, but he's got 2 wins this season. He's looking for his third.
Yeah, Brody Falliker right now, he's been fastest 4 of the last 5 laps. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, he's been faster than Maggio 3 of the last 5 laps. So Falliker, if I'm him right now, I'm looking at my time, and I'm kind of seeing if I can where Maggio is running. What kind of time is he running? Where am I losing? Do I need to step it up a little bit here? Can I back it down maybe a little bit here? I'd really be getting into a race management mode rather than worrying about running qualifying laps. So hopefully Brody Falliker is keeping all this in mind, and he can put a great race together. But yeah, Steven Maggio, he's no slouch. He is fast week in and week out, Eliza.
Yeah, we just got to watch long run. What are these guys doing to the tires? Are they running too much? Pushing the issue here, but so I'm a little worried about that with Brody. I know Maggio, he's good on the long run. So is Brody, so I can't say too much, but man, he is super fast here, over 1.5 seconds still, but that is starting to even out a little bit. We'll just have to keep our eye on these two in the long run.
Yeah, 1.7, 1.8 seems to be the consistent marker between first and second. From Steven Maggio back to Jurgensmeyer, you're talking about another 3.2 seconds. So Jurgensmeyer is starting to lose a little bit of ground, but still solidly inside the top 10. Rivers Jones up 1 spot after starting 5th. That's going to put him in P4. Jonathan Hernandez, who's been inside the top 5 all race, it seems, doing very, very well as well. He's about 7 seconds behind Maggio. Anaskog, Hamilton, Cocker, Cunningham, and Matt Sisler rounding out the top 10. Eliza, other than a couple of issues where maybe a car's gone off track or something like that, it's actually been a really good, really clean race.
Yeah, it has, and the racing has just been so incredibly tight, but man, I'll tell you what, the pit stops have actually separated these drivers, some of them quite a bit, and it just goes to show how important it is to try to get some good pit stops and make sure you get all the time out of them that you can. You don't want to give up time anywhere, and Jurgensmeyer's now almost 5.5 seconds back before he was in the 4s when we last looked. Rivers Jones, he's P4 about just a little over six seconds back. So these guys spread out a little bit, but man, Maggio is not letting Falliker get away.
Falliker, he actually sees the number 5 machine of Brendan Book right up ahead of him. So Brendan Book right now, I believe I just saw he was running P18. So that's gonna leave just 17 cars left on the lead lap. Brody Falliker still kind of blinking out just a little bit. I don't want to be Book if that happens when the 42 catches up to him. But yeah, I think the 42 is a man on a mission tonight.
Yeah, I think so. I think he wants to get that third win of the season, and I'll tell you what, I keep trying to go on board with him, but
Yeah, I know. Me
just
too.
keeps blinking out. I hate to see it, but you can see, as you said, Brennan Book up ahead, and just listen to those tires as he's making his way around. I mean, it's just so slippery out there, a little sketchy as you go around the S's, and here we go into the bus stop, so let's take a look on board and see how he makes it through the bus stop. But man, you really jump those curbs, and I can tell you, it shakes your wheel. We're all over the place trying to keep that car under control.
Yeah, 1 through 10 right now. I mean, you take a look at the track map. Brody Falliker is the #1 car highlighted with a green circle around him, and all the way back through 10th, they just got to the top of the bus stop. So that goes to show just how separated at least the top 10 are. The rest of the cars maybe had some damage, maybe just a little bit slower, maybe just not, maybe road courses aren't their forte. But either way, everybody out here doing the best that they can to walk away or drive away from the Glen with max points.
Coming up on a 2.5-second gap between first and second, and I know you called it for the 42 to possibly get that third win of the season here at the Glen. I know Maggio, he's got the most with 5 wins in the season. No one has even come that close. The second place as far as amount of wins is going to be those with 2 wins. We're talking about Jimmy Cocker, Jonathan Hernandez, Brody Falliker being one of them, who is our current leader. So there is quite a gap, and I know these guys would love to close the points gap between first, which is Maggio, and where they sit in points.
Yeah, again, the top 5 separated by just 29 points. The 42, I mentioned earlier, he's had a little bit of a miserable start to the chase. Tonight could be that great confidence booster one more time. But Jonathan Jurgensmeyer still running third in that 00. He led a lot of laps this evening. He's got the 91 of Rivers Jones right behind. You mentioned Jonathan Hernandez getting a couple wins in somewhat a back-to-back fashion at Talladega and Charlotte within the chase. So it seems like all the chase drivers that you can see who they are as they're highlighted there in orange on the scoring pylon. Those are the guys that we're talking about week in and week out, irregardless of the kind of track, Eliza.
Absolutely. Francis Hamilton, he's going to be out here P6. Just a great solid run for him. Great for the points in the chase. Jimmy Cocker in 7th. That's going to be a teammate for FIWB. A lot of them out here. Justin Anisagak sitting P8. And then right behind him is going to be 9th, Matt Sisler in that 45, having a solid run out here tonight. Also said he was not feeling well. So for not feeling well, he's actually doing a phenomenal job. Great to see it. Connor Cunningham, he is going to round out your top 10 in that 3 machine.
Yeah, and I'm absolutely loving that paint scheme for Connor Cunningham. Yeah, it's very, very clean. Loving the white with the camo and, of course, the Bass Pro. There's just something about that scheme I absolutely love. Behind Connor Cunningham, you see Tom Harmon. He started 11th, and that's right where he continues to run tonight. John Honeycutt had a little bit of a problem earlier, but right now finds himself in P12, up 4 in that Team FTR number 50 machine. Up 10 spots, though, now 11, as him and Honeycutt had a little bit of a duel there. Is Brian Pizzichemi now up 11 spots to P12, pushing John Honeycutt back to 13th. Matt Gale, he started tonight in the P15 spot, right now running 14th. And Andrew Sanford in that 37, up 6 to P15, Eliza.
Jamie Wright going to be 16th in that 03, and he's got a lot of action out there in front of him. Hopefully he can capitalize on some of that. Jarek Hardwell out here in 17th in that 12 machine. Brennan Book, a chase driver, not having the best of race. He has lost 8 spots from where he started in on grid. Jordan McGraw in 18th, and then Micah Allard 19th. Justin Anisagak, he is looks to be out of the race, unfortunately.
Fortunate Phil Bridgman, you also see him there on pit road, right along with Joe Berg, Austin Mitty, and Dylan Robb. Looks like one of them on pit road was possibly a busted or a blown motor. Very unfortunate. But back up front, Eliza, Brody Falker's lead was at 2+ seconds. It's now back down to 1.7. Not quite sure if the 42 of Falker has had a little bit of an issue the last lap, or has he been pushing and now it's starting to catch up to him. But you watch him go through that bus stop, still look pretty good. Car bouncing around a little bit, but that's to be expected when you're taking those hurdles at high speed.
Yeah, I'm looking at Maggio's time, and he's got a couple of laps that are definitely faster than Brody Falker, so they're going to have to keep their eye on it. Is Falker, are his tires wearing down a little bit? Is he starting to save them? Or Steven Maggio, is he starting to pick up the pace now? Maybe he was saving earlier. We'll have to find out, man, and we have 10 to go, so anything can happen. He's still within a range to make a pass over Falker, but I know Brody, he's going to do everything he can to keep that 51 behind him.
Yeah, 42 getting on by the 12 of Jarrett Cardwell. Jarrett doing a great job at being respectful, letting the 42 go, not taking the line that the 42 needed. And that little bit of a battle right there, even though JC or Jarrett Cardwell moved over for him, it still closed that gap between first and second by another 0.2.
On board with Brody as he went through the bus stop here, coming around. You can see Jarrett back there, and he's got Steven Maggio directly behind him. He's going to move up high to let Steven on by, but that gap has closed another 10. So Steven is slowly but surely closing that gap as we have 9 to go.
Yeah, next car in front of Brody Falker, I believe, is going to be kind of a little bit of a mix here. Yeah. I think he got actually you're right. Yeah, Brendan Book, and then looks to be even a couple more as well. They're the little side by side or nose to tail action. Brendan Book, and then the 03 of Jamie Wright, as you mentioned before.
On board with Brendan Book, who currently sits 16th. You can see out back Brody Falker moving on up, but man, take a look at that gap between first and second. It is closing still. You can see on board with Steven, he is right behind Falker in that 42 car. So these laps are quickly winding down, but man, it is heating up as Steven is really pushing the limits here on the bus stop as he is flinging out mud.
Definitely saw the right sides of Maggio go through the dirt there, while the 42 was all about the rumble strips. The side-by-side battle right in front of the 42. This is not what Brody Falker wants to see. He's hoping that Brendan Book and the 03 will go ahead and settle this sooner than later and let the leaders go on by. That lead is absolutely shrinking.
It sure is. We're under a second and a half here, and he's got a lot of issues going on in front of him. 2 cars that were battling, they have now since fanned out a little bit. We have the 03 who is now behind Brendan Book, but still, it's 2 more cars that you have to pass, and you know that you are going to lose a little bit of time just simply changing your line to make your way around him. Now, will the same thing happen to Maggio, or sometimes, unfortunately, you're going to cost yourself the time as you try to make it through lap traffic, and then he's going to be able to squeeze his way through and close that gap even further. We'll find out what's going to happen, but man, I'm very excited, a little nervous, but I know both of these drivers really want that win.
Yeah, we are getting closer and closer to 5 laps to go to be 6 to go next time by. Looks like the 03 went ahead and pulled over for Falker. No issue whatsoever. Next on his radar is going to be the 5 of Brendan Book. Meanwhile, still trying to keep the 51 behind him. The 03 moves aside for the 51, now sitting at just 1.2. So we've watched that lead fall from 2 seconds down to 1.2, 1.3. It looks like Brody Falker is just getting off the corner just a little bit better than Maggio is, but Maggio has better straightaway speed. I don't know if it's shift points or what it is, but the 51 definitely struggles over the rumble strips.
You know, sometimes slower in, faster out is the way to go. It carries that momentum on the straights and through those flowing parts of the track. So if the 51 is able to continue that and get it slower in, faster out, like we just spoke about, then he is going to continue to close that gap down on Brody Folliker. And with 6 to go, it is just going to be incredibly close. Pete, I would love to see how many incident points they have. How close are they to making it to 21? Because that is when you have to go in, and that is disastrous for a win tonight.
Oh yeah, you definitely don't want to exceed those and end up, with a penalty either throughout this race or have to take a penalty next week. But I'm watching that 51 from the rear view of the 42, and that Aflac machine is getting closer. As they used to say in the actual broadcast, cue the duck.
I don't know what happened with Jurgensmeyer, but I'm trying to go on board with him. It shows that he perhaps, he's not even showing on track right now currently, Pete. So I'm not sure what happened with that, but he was in third. He is now falling quickly, so I don't know if he lagged out or what, but man, so unfortunate to see. Hernandez is going to take over that third spot, and he is almost 10.5 seconds behind P2.
Yeah, Jonathan Hernandez very strong this evening, and sometimes you just have to be in the right place at the right time to capitalize on somebody else's misfortune. In this case, the 00 of Jurgensmeyer. Jurgensmeyer very, very fast, started on pole this evening, kept the 51 of Maggio behind him for a great part of the first stint or the first stage of tonight's race from the Glen. So, it is absolutely unfortunate, but we've seen both the 00 and the 42 blinking out at times. Sometimes you lose packet loss and you end up getting kicked from the race or whatever the case may be. Very unfortunate for the 00.
Yeah, it would not be the first time that we've seen him kicked from a race, and that has absolutely been catastrophic to him in the chase here. It happened in the first couple of races, I do believe, in the chase, and we saw him at the bottom for a while. Currently, he sits 9th in the standings in the chase, and Jonathan Hernandez, who won 2 races in the chase, he's up 3 spots to P2. Steven Maggio is leading in the standings, and he currently sits P2. So great consistency from these drivers, and that is just going to help him in points.
Absolutely. Hernandez, what I believe he was just 19 points behind Maggio. Right now, it runs right there with him. I believe both of these drivers did get stage points on the evening, so everybody doing exactly what they need to do in order to have a shot at the Season 5 championship with I believe it's 3 races yet to go this season. It's gonna be a burner all the way to Atlanta.
Steven Maggio and Jonathan Hernandez, the only 2 drivers in the field that are exactly where they started in the race. Steven Maggio P2, Jonathan Hernandez in 3rd, Brody Folliker gaining 3 spots in the lead with 3 to go, so it is winding down quickly. Rivers Jones, he's going to be 4th. Great finish if he can hold on to it tonight. Jimmy Cocker in 5th, running at the top 5, and Francis Hamilton, he is going to be 6th, up 1 spot from where he started.
Yeah, 6th Hamilton, 7th going to be Matt Sisler. 8th is going to be up 3 spots, talking about the 68 of Tom Harmon. Connor Cunningham, you talked about him earlier, having a great race here for the road course. And then looks like Brian Pizzakemi holds on to the top 10
Pete, we have a battle for the lead.
Yep, just saw that. Looked like I'm not quite sure what happened with Brendan Book, if he kind of got the 42 off his game for just a moment, but going down into turn 6, 42, very, very aggressive all over the back bumper of that 51. This is how the 42 got the lead earlier, able to cut inside. 51 pretty wise to that. 42 again, going to try to cut over to the right-hand side. We're going to have a drag race to the line, going to 1. Eliza, this could be all about who outbreaks who. 42 doesn't have the speed. 51's going to take the lead for the first, nope, actually going to retake the lead this evening.
Oh man, we have to get a replay on that. I don't know what exactly happened here, but man, do you think we have time for a replay? Let's have a look
Let's
here.
do it. Yep.
Let's have a look. All right, we're on board with Brendan. Book, you said that he might have been involved in that. I don't know. Let's see. All right, you see him going off track. The 42 goes through the dirt, and yeah, just a really terrible spot to try to make a pass, and the 51 capitalizes on it and takes the lead. I don't know how happy I would be if I were Brody Folliker, but Brendan Book didn't do anything wrong. It's just such an unfortunate spot for these guys. Trading paint, going side by side. Brody Folliker retaking that lead. Steven Maggio coming back on track as Brody disappears, but he comes back directly in front. Pete, this is insane.
Yeah, absolutely. Coming to the white flag this time off the turn number 7. 42 is going to have the lead up by the wall, letting that car eat, opening up the wheel. You see the 51 getting a little loose. Barney the flagman waving the white. Last lap. 42 pulling ahead by just about a tenth and a half. Getting on the brakes into turns 1 and 2, very, very easy. Hitting the rumble strips, you see the 51 go a little wide, losing the grip in the back end. That's going to give the 42 just a little bit of an advantage coming up through the S's. Very solid, little bit of a slide, nothing bad at all. But again, extending his lead over the 51. Eliza, they are on the backstretch heading towards the butt stop.
Yeah, coming up to the bus stop here in just several more corners before we separate these drivers, and Steven Maggio just absolutely obliterates the bus stop, and that is just going to allow Brody Folliker to get away. He's got to be extremely frustrated. We are on the final lap, coming around the final couple of corners before we announce Brody Folliker the winner here at the Glen. His 3rd win of the season. Can he get it done? I was nervous his internet would not hold out, but he looks to hold steady currently. You can see Maggio behind, but here we come. Final corner, Brody Folliker is going to be your winner here at the Glen. 3 wins in the season. Steven Maggio, he comes home too.
Yeah, Jonathan Hernandez is going to bring it home. P3, Maggio and Hernandez, they both finishing right where they started. Brody Folliker up 3 spots from where he queued. Rivers Jones 4th, and Jimmy Cocker P5 as the 42's burning it down.
Ah, man, absolutely crazy. Let's take a look at that 42. I know he had to be extremely nervous. I know Steven Maggio has to be extremely frustrated. So many emotions here tonight at the Glen. What a battle throughout the field. These guys just do a phenomenal job. But man, oh man, let's watch him celebrate. The 45 coming over to just say, hey, congratulations, as that 42 celebrates.
Tell you, never ever sleep on the 43 Brody Folliker, last season's Xfinity champion, trying to go back to back. Last season, his FIWB teammate went him and his FIWB teammate Jimmy Cocker went 1-2 in points. This is going to be a big shot of points that he's going to need in order to carry on through the rest of the postseason.
Yeah, what a race, man. 42 making his way around the track. Brody, a huge congratulations to you. Another win in the season, but I'll tell you, you had to fight for this one at the finish. Take us through what happened between you and try to make your way around Brendan Book.
Yeah, I mean, even on road courses, dirty air is definitely a factor in these cars. And, I mean, that 5 was, I mean, he was dumping some air on me. Oh, sorry. I was drifting around the carousel.
I'm enjoying watching it.
But yeah, I really did think I lost the race once Steven got back around me. I was so loose and in the right. So I was so loose in the left-handers, and then I was so tight in the right-handers. Like, this car did not drive at all what I wanted it to do. I was not comfortable at any point in this race. So I'm very surprised that I even had, some speed, let alone, race-winning speed. Yeah, it was a fun battle with Steven at the end. I was super worried about him. somehow saving more tires than I did. And honestly, I think he did. He did a great job at keeping pace with me and honestly catching me. So I don't exactly know what happened to him at the end, but I was very surprised whenever I got back to him.
Yeah, you guys had some nice two wide battles coming to the finish there, but how hard was it to pass tonight? I know we talked about it from last season being difficult, but was it pretty difficult tonight also?
Well, I didn't really. I don't think I made a pass on new tires really once. That was probably the most difficult part. You could kind of wait until people, burn their stuff up, and it would make it way easier. They wouldn't be able to drive into the corners as deep as, you were. And that made it a little easy, but I really don't know. I wasn't further on back into the pack. The air could have been way worse back there, so um, that could be it. But once the run went long, it was kind of just a dogfight. So
Absolutely. Well, you have some nice points here in the stage and also the win and leading laps. I know you're P4 in the standings, but that should hopefully shoot you up a little bit here. But man, what a win at the Glen. So fun watching you guys battle out. Just huge congratulations, Brody.
thank you. It's really cool to win, my first road course race ever. So
Oh,
definitely
okay,
gonna remember this
cool.
one.
Yeah, that's one to put in the books for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Pete, we have P2 in here and let's have a chat.
First off, Eliza, I'm very, very happy that the booth jinx didn't get to Falliker
Right?
after picking
Yeah.
him for the win this evening. No, yeah, can't say anything about that tonight. Yeah, Maggio, I tell you what, I started P2, finishing P2 very, very strong behind Jurgensmeyer and then catching up to Brody Falliker. What were the stronger points of your run this evening, and where did you need just that? What little bit more did you need in order to possibly take home your sixth win of the season?
I think I just needed to race smarter. I'm pretty upset with myself, honestly. It was a super fun battle, and Brody ran a perfect race, but I feel like I beat myself tonight. I had a lot of speed, and I hounded Jerg that whole first stage, and I made just a stupid move to try to get, maybe side by side with him and maybe scare him a tiny bit. I don't really know what I was thinking, and it ended up costing me a spot for that stage, and then it let everyone by. And I overheated the heck out of my tires when I did that, and I just let Brody get away, and then I came out of the pits, and he had a lap fresher tires than me, and was still ahead. He was like a second ahead or a second and a half ahead, and I thought maybe if I could just save really good and focus on the heat aspect of it, of just not sliding them and trying to not like crank the wheel too hard, that I could just keep him cool and maybe I'd catch him, and I did, and yeah, I got by him, and I overdrove the I overdrove the bus stop just the tiniest bit, and I didn't turn right enough on the exit, and because I didn't want to dip my tires in the grass. I wanted to just try to stay on track, and I should have just dipped my tires in the grass because when I did that, it just didn't turn for the whole rest of that right hander into the carousel, and Brody was able to get under me, and at that point, it just put me in a really bad spot. So it was really fun. It was really hard, and I just feel like I beat myself, so I'm a little upset with my decision making tonight.
Well, you came into tonight's race 19 points over, I believe it was Jonathan Hernandez. So we've got Homestead, we have Michigan, and then the season finale at the Legacy Atlanta course. Looking ahead, how do you see your chances at possibly your first championship this season?
I think we'll know a lot better after Michigan. That track really scares me. It's basically a super speedway. I don't know how it is in this car, but I can't imagine it's better than, say, the next gen. So that track really scares me. Homestead, maybe I can run good. I don't know how this track or how that track is in this car, and I feel like I'll be really good at Legacy Atlanta actually. But yeah, just this was a crucial race. That's a 10-point swing right there, losing to Brody. So. But I still have the lead, like you said, and I'll just try to manage it for the rest of the season. But really, really just wanted to win. I didn't even care about the points. Just wanted to win. I've been so fast at road courses and have never won one, so we'll get one soon.
Well, great race all the way through, very very fast, as you said. Way to bring it home clean and still in the points lead, sir. We'll see you next week.
Thank you guys. Have a good night.
Eliza Jonathan Hernandez, very very fast, very strong so far in the chase. Wraps up tonight with a P3. He's with you.
Yeah, you gained 3 positions in the standings to move up into second after last week's win at Talladega, and you had such a strong showing out here tonight. Take us through your race and how it went.
Uh, Kept it clean. Believe it or not, I'm surprised I kept it clean compared to Daytona a couple months ago for the road course there. So, yeah, no. First off, congrats to Brody, and of course him and Steven had the faster pace than I did. But yeah, no, just we kept our own pace, kept our own race, kept out of trouble. Tried to not die towards the end, right there in the final couple laps with Cardwell and Jamie battling for a spot right there. So I knew I had nothing to lose against the Rivers right there, and we just we'll take the third. We'll take, I don't know where I got stage. I think fifth. So decent points there. We got a lap lead, so another extra point. And yeah, we just I don't know, kept it clean. I'm surprised I got third. I'll be honest with you. I was expecting like fifth.
I mean, you had a solid race. We saw you up front. So I think you did phenomenal. And it's great to see you doing so well out here. I know next week we're at Homestead. How do you feel about that?
Love it because I get to rip the wall there.
Okay.
Another track that I love ripping the wall with this car. Granted, we get the high downforce and 550 package, so a little bit more chaotic as we're probably gonna be normally used to. So I think it's just same thing as the first 3 races here. Keep it clean, keep it out of trouble, uh, and just survive. 3 down, 3 to go, and I believe that's right. Right, 3 to go, 4 to go,
Yes, 3 to go.
3 to go. Yeah, and keep on pace. I hate to say that, I wish for bad luck for Brody and Steven in points. I really do wish. I hate saying that, but realistically, for me to have a strong chance for the championship, I need some type of luck these next 3 weeks against them too, and
Well, that
hopefully
answers
keep
my
a little
question.
gap.
Yeah. I was curious about how you thought your hopes for a championship were, but that answers the question. But yeah, you guys are so strong up here, and it was just fun to watch the battles. Speaking of battles, what was your favorite one of the night? Going.
Uh, well, I was gonna have fun with uh, who was it? Jurg right there before he had his iRacing crash. I was gonna have a lot of fun right
Oh
there
yeah.
for that third place. But I think I enjoyed battling for the stage with the top five there. I mean, with the issue that Steven and the Double Zero had that brought everybody close together, I think that was a little fun battle. Granted, I didn't get any positions from that. Um, we still. I thought I was close enough. I was like, man, one mess up and we'll probably get good, decent stage points. But I think that was my favorite, just trying to keep up with everybody. And then, of course, the battle with Jerk towards the end before he had his issue.
Absolutely. Well, it was a fun race. A huge congratulations to Brody, our Xfinity champion from last season. He gets his third win of this season. Next week, we're headed to Homestead, Pete. Should be a fun one.
Yeah, Homestead Miami Speedway, blue walls, and a whole lot of wall ripping, as Hernandez just said. It's going to be a phenomenal race. I cannot wait to see how that one plays out.
All right. We will see you guys next week. You guys have a great night. Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate it. And I know the drivers do also. You guys have a great night.